everybody, Recovery Guy here. Today I'm going to talk about sharing at meetings, what to share, how to share. This is one of the scariest things for a newcomer. Like if you guys are anything like me, you spent the first 6 months of your recovery sitting at the very backs of meetings, absolutely shitting your pants, wishing that the chairperson is not going to pick you to share. Now, some people are better at sharing than others. Some people naturally are just less fearful, but public speaking is one of the scariest things. First thing, guys, and this is something that will probably make you feel better about going to meetings in general and just be generally overall less fearful, is you can turn down a share. If they say, hey, you in the striped shirt, would you like to share? You can do something like this. Hey, my name is Joey. I'd just like to listen tonight, thanks. And then everyone will say, thank you, Joey, or whatever your name is. And then everyone will clap your hands. So, don't let the fear of sharing deter you from going to meetings in the first place. I can share now at most meetings almost without fear at all, but it wasn't like that for like the first even maybe 2 years of my sobriety. I was, especially in the first 6 months, I was absolutely terrified of sharing. So in this video, I'm going to explain what you guys can do when you get up to the podium. So a lot of times when a newcomer asks what should I share in meetings, one of the more common answers I hear is people tell them share your experience, strength, and hope. And that's okay, I guess. For me, maybe I'm an overthinker, so maybe this is only true for me and not true for most of people, but I don't know what that means. I know what experience means. I can be yeah, I'll draw upon my experience as a drug addict. This is what my life looked like, and this is the way that I used to act, and this is the way that I behave and stuff like that. And then hope, this is what I hope to attain in the future by sobriety. That's kind of a bit more dicey. And then share your strength. So it's what? Oh, okay, I used to be a drug addict. I'm really good at math and I hope to get back. I don't see any clear-cut directions in that experience, strength, and hope thing. Yeah, just share your experience, strength, and hope. Well, it's if you're a newcomer and you're terrified of sharing, you don't know what that means. You don't know what the hell anyone's even talking about when they say that. It doesn't give you any solid basis in which you can share off of. So I find another common cliche is people say what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. That is the best template. What it used to be like. What did your life look like? What did you used to do? How did you used to feel? I was insecure. I was immobilized by fear. I wasn't accomplishing any of my goals. I wasn't moving forward in life. I always felt restless, irritable, and discontent. I wasn't happy. I was insecure and scared of everyone. That's what it was like. What happened is usually you did the steps. Now, if you haven't actually done the steps yet, because you are in very early sobriety, just say what happened is there was an event that brought me to treatment, or there was an event that caused me to seek out the rooms of whatever fellowship you happen to be going to, and I started my recovery journey. And you don't have to lie and be yeah, I've done the steps and they're awesome. You can just say this is my experience so far. And then what it's like now. Well, what it's like now is I'm in a treatment house, or I'm coming to meetings regularly. I have a sponsor, and although I'm still scared and things are still happening in my life that I'm not happy with, and I'm not quite where I want to be yet, it's getting better, and I plan on continuing to stay the course. So very simply, what it was like, what happened to bring you to the rooms, or what happened throughout your journey of the steps, and what it's like now. A lot of times when you're at meetings, you hear a lot of crazy stories. You hear about the guy who did 18 pounds of cocaine in one night, every night for 8 years. And then you hear about the people that were gangbangers and they sold drugs and are often quite violent. Or you hear about the people where I was on my way to becoming a CFL quarterback and I fell into drugs. And a lot of us, myself included, my story isn't as crazy as a lot of these people. I wasn't super violent. I wasn't involved in gangs. I wasn't the son of parents who were infinitely wealthy and I had crazy boat parties all the time. My story was a little bit more bland than that. It was frankly, my story is a lot more boring than that. So if you guys have that and you are insecure about that, you can focus on what all alcoholics and addicts have in common. And instead of what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now, focus more on what I used to be like. What happened to me and what I'm like now. Touch on the internal symptoms. This is how I used to feel. This is the course of action that I took or am now taking, and this is how I feel now. You don't need to pretend like you know anything. If you're really, really new in the fellowship, you don't need to like pretend that you've like have this profound connection with your higher power and you're like praying and meditating all day, every day, and you're doing the steps harder than anyone's ever done them before. You don't need to be like that. A little bit of honesty and a little bit of humility goes a really, really long way. If you go up to the podium and you're new and you're like, hey guys, like, I'm nervous right now. I'm new in the program. I've been an alcoholic or a drug addict my whole life, and I've never really understood what it was like to be sober. And you know, I'm just, you know, my sponsor hasn't told me like I've done my step 1 even yet, and I'm just like really grateful to be here. I'm grateful that the rooms of AA or NA or whatever exist, and I'm grateful for the support of everyone in this room, and I look forward to seeing what recovery has to offer. That's perfectly fine. You don't need to pretend like you're, you know, on the other side of this work and you're talking to the newcomers. You don't need to try and inspire people. Just honestly share what it's like for you in recovery so far, coming from a place of humility. So that's all you have to do, guys. You just get up there, you know, if you're properly armed with the facts about yourself and your own journey, you should have plenty of material to share about. You don't need to know quotes from the big book. You don't need to know quotes from the basic text. You don't need to be anything except for your genuine self. Share what it was like, share what happened, and share what it's like now. Now, obviously, guys, avoid racism, avoid sexism, avoid homophobia, avoid transphobia, but always make sure that you talk shit about other fellowships. If you're in AA, talk shit about AA. If you're in AA, talk shit about NA. If you're in CBT, talk shit about every single faith-based program you could possibly come up with. It's very important that we constantly try and divide ourselves along tribal barriers when you share. You have to virtue signal that the fellowship that you are currently a part of is better than all other fellowships. Just joking. All right, guys, that's all I got for this video. Just a quick little short. If you guys are scared of sharing at meetings, just follow this very, very easy template, or you can just say, I would just like to listen, thanks. And everyone will clap for you. No one will make fun of you. The meeting will go on, and then maybe you guys will share next time they ask. Thanks for coming by. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.